It's caught by Brian Thomas Jr., but he caught shy of first down yardage. He is tackled to the ground in what will be the final play of the Jaguars season.
The Jaguars have fired head coach Doug Peterson, ending his tenure after a frustrating season. And this is one, guys, I think we have known has been coming for some time. He said, and this is, again, Consil, I strongly believe it is possible next season we'll restore the winning environment we had here not long ago. He adds, Tom, that he will collaborate with general manager Trent Baalke to make the next move for the organization.
1010XL 92.5 FM presents Jaguars Today with your hosts Mike Dempsey, Tony Smith, Jeff Lageman, and Dylan Denmark.
Oh, it's the one-day anniversary of Monday.
Well, it got better.
Did it?
No.
Tony Smith, ladies and gentlemen, that's a mic drop. Just walk off right now.
Gosh.
Your year will not get better than that, Tony. That was fantastic.
That was so awful yesterday. I couldn't believe it while it was happening.
The Zoom press conference yesterday to discuss the firing of Doug Peterson and the future of the medical and health and wellness staff of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Welcome in, everyone. It is a Check the Tape Tuesday. I don't know what tape we're going to be checking exactly today. I don't think that's going to be where the questions come from mostly, but Jeff Lageman is here.
I watched the film, though, Mike.
If there's...
I mean,
nothing else to do waiting in the airport.
We'll give you 30 seconds.
I only had 7 hours to watch the film, and you're telling me that I'm here not to check the tape?
No, we will check the tape as well.
Come on, man.
But we'll also check some of that audio tape from Zoom yesterday with the owner of the Jaguars, Shad Khan, and Trent Baalke meeting with assembled members of the media virtually. I will say this, reports are the Jags have requested interviews with both of the Lions coordinators, Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn, as well as Liam Cohen, the offense coordinator that has turned the Buccaneers passing game into a marvel of big play. I don't want to say
amazing
efficiency.
when you got a guy by the name of Mike Evans, you can do that.
Yeah.
Well, it's not just him, though.
No,
man.
I know.
I mean, Goddard was having a hell of a year, and then he went out, and Evans missed for a while, and Baker kept that thing humming along pretty good offensively.
Kudos to him.
At least.
He
You know?
had a very strong year.
Man, he sure did. So maybe that's our next head coach. Who knows? But we'll be following that process. Jeff, we'll start with this. Were you surprised that Shad Khan decided to go halfway, fire the head coach, and leave the front office intact?
No. I don't think anything surprises me. A lot of people were trying to predict well, this is going to happen or that's going to happen, and people were saying, oh, this is what we're hearing. Yeah. If anybody's saying that, they're lying. I mean, there's one person that's making that call, and that's Shad.
He made that pretty clear yesterday.
And the reality is if you go and you look at his history, because that's really the only thing that you have to go on, is that he's done this before where he's retained as general manager and has made a coaching change, and and that's kind of how it is. That's what it is. And I will say this, when I woke up, which was I don't want to say it was late, but later than normal for me because we got in so late after the delay on the runway. I wasn't surprised at all, just because I kind of figured that I was expecting to wake up and maybe hear maybe just the general manager's gone, maybe just the coach is gone, maybe they're both gone. I didn't expect anything. I thought anything was a possibility.
Did you expect some change, though?
Yes.
Regardless?
I definitely expected change. I mean, you just – the reality is that when you have the results that this team has had, especially over the last, X number of games, I mean, the major disappointment, when you go back to the last 6 games of last year, and then especially the way that this season started with 4 consecutive losses until you beat the Colts in Week 5. I mean, it was just major disappointment, not where you expected to be, and not because of what the owner said. Just because, I mean, if you looked at this football team, you sat there and said, I mean, look, we all thought, okay, I'm thinking at worst we all probably thought somewhere around 500.
Right.
For this
8 wins,
team.
9 wins
Yeah,
again.
well, I mean, 7 probably, 6 being an absolute debacle. You had a major injury. 7 on a year that wasn't great. 8, in a disappointing season, 9, and it wasn't really there. But, I mean, we didn't expect this. I mean, nobody did.
No, I agree. I mean, look, I'm not saying that he made the wrong move in moving off the coaching staff. I just would have preferred either both go, or I feel like you almost would have been better off just bringing them back both as lame ducks and putting the pressure on them, say your fates are tied together. But that also brings up a scenario where if you are in a lame duck situation, you are going to be focused on the short term, right? I mean, you've got to do enough to be employed beyond this contract or to earn the next contract, right? So I
think short term is definitely a focus. I mean, if you watched the press conference yesterday,
no
about
doubt,
the question about turning it around quickly, I mean, that's the expectation.
But that was the expectation.
The short term view is definitely, I think, at the forefront of his mind.
Oh, absolutely, right. And that question came up a couple of different ways. Do you think this can be a quick fix? And they both agreed
yes,
that it could, right? But he also
now the pressure is on from that standpoint, and that if it's not a quick fix, then do you say, is it the coach again? I mean, I think that's a realistic point to bring up.
But that brings to the problem of, okay, let's say it's not the coach, it's a year in. You can't blame it on the coach again. So we changed front offices. Well, we all know a new GM comes in. They want their chance to put the stamp on the organization. They want to eventually be given the chance to hire their guy. So they're not necessarily going to be perfectly in tune. I know you're trying to hire a guy and say, hey, are you going to be on the same page? You're able to work together and all these different things. But it rarely, to me, is the most elegant solution to split up the timeline.
Well, I think the easy thing to have done would have been to fire both of them.
Mm-hmm.
I think it definitely makes it more challenging with just one, especially being the coach. And the reason I say that is, and I know that Shad was asked that question, and he didn't feel like that it would be an impediment to going forward with a GM in place. But the reality is that there are certain people that will have other options, and they want to have kind of a pairing with somebody coming in at the same time. Would Trent Baalke, himself be an impediment, and people say, no, I can't work with that guy? Look, the reality is that there's not a lot of jobs that are available, so there's a lot of people that are not going to turn down an opportunity at all.
Right, but the
but
cream
there are
of the crop,
some,
right,
yeah,
have the ones that have options.
Absolutely. They're going to have the opportunity to say, that's not for me. And some, because the reality is that, look, me and Tony may not get along. We may not have the same kind of personalities, and
you're talking about Tony Smith here for people who aren't watching. People are going to think you and Baselli are at odds here.
No.
It's a hypothetical, people.
Hypothetical that, look, if I'm a coach and I'm the one that's in high demand and Tony's already in place, but me and Tony, we just don't mesh personality-wise after spending some time together, and maybe – we've had our paths cross in the past somewhere and it hasn't worked, then that could be an impediment to me wanting to take the job. Whereas if it were clear, and Mike, me and you were kind of buddies and we had spent some time together, and you're kind of a heralded general manager that has been somewhere else, maybe I would look at that job as being more attractive if I could go in with you. So that's the reality. It's human nature. I mean, there are always impediments to having something that's already in place, to being able to hire certain people. But the reality is that there are people that would jump at the opportunity no matter who's in place.
Oh, of course. You're always going to be able to find someone to coach your team or to take the front office job.
And because, the reality, it's like hitting the lottery. When you get a head coach contract, just like Doug Peterson right now, he's getting paid.
Absolutely.
So don't feel sorry for Doug Peterson.
I do not.
He's getting paid. And so a lot of coaches look at getting a head coach job as hitting the lottery. Now I've got a contract that pays me incredibly well. It's guaranteed. If I get fired, okay. I'll go back and be a coordinator.
I'll go coach for somebody if I just want to coach. But
I got, 7, 6, 8, 9, whatever it is, a year guaranteed to me coming in for the next 4.
That's probably on the low end now.
Probably
too.
is.
You know what I mean?
Especially with college football bumping everything up.
And, especially if you're like a guy like Ben Johnson of the Lions, whose name is out there, and he is the hot guy. It doesn't mean he'll turn out to be the best candidate, right? Kevin O'Connell wasn't necessarily the hottest guy. He has turned out to be a great candidate from that coaching cycle.
He's done an amazing job.
Right? So
amazing job.
Just because, by the way, we should keep that in mind. You may or may not get the guy you desire. If you do, he doesn't necessarily work out the way you hope he will. And sometimes the guy that you, quote, settle for turns out to be the right guy. By the way, I'll tell you, settle for Tony over me all day. I'm going to save you the heartache, okay? And 2 years from now, you'll be looking back going, what was I thinking? Man, this is crazy. So, all right, well, we're going to take a lot of questions today, hopefully, and, on the subject at hand. But if you want to talk about the way the season ended, you want to talk about what we need to do here in Jacksonville to build a more competitive team, to make this a quick turnaround, Jeff Lageman's the man to talk to about that. Let's just play this. This is a little bit of a long soundbite. I want to play a few of these. We don't do much of this when Jeff is in on Tuesday, but this is so pertinent to what's going on for Jaguar fans this week. Dylan, good morning. First of all, how are you?
Good morning, Michael.
I hear
I'm
it's
great.
a special day in the Denmark family.
Oh, yeah, my little brother's birthday. Shout out Dalton.
Shout out Dalton.
I didn't know
Dalton
it was his birthday,
and Dylan.
so I wrote the date down. I was like, oh, it's his birthday. So
How old is Dalton today?
20 years old.
All right. Congratulations, Dalton, for surviving your first score worth of years right there. Can you just imagine Dylan and Dalton, with 6 shooters on their hips, right? Walking the west side. I don't know.
That's totally like old Western gunfighter names.
Isn't it, right?
Yeah,
I mean, I just
totally.
absolutely. He's got another brother, Jack, I'm told. And do you have a sister too, Dylan?
Yes, Morgan.
Morgan. Excellent. One of my niece's middle names is Morgan.
That is kind of old, like an old Western movie.
It is, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Morgan,
Kinda
Denmark.
digging it.
Here comes Morgan, Denmark here into town. Whatever the case may be, the stagecoach has arrived. Here's Shad Khan. Dylan, if we can fire up the first cut I gave you, number 5 from yesterday. And it was a little bit head-scratching to me. There were some real head scratchers, but this one probably was the biggest one for me when asked about a complete overhaul. Does he think, did he consider that for the franchise before just deciding to fire Doug Peterson?
Well, what is a complete overhaul of the franchise? Okay. We have, I think if you look at it, health and wellness, obviously, of the players, medical, statistics, analysis, scouting, and number of other elements, along with contract administration. All of those areas, we have really changed, improved, certainly over the last 4 or 5 years. So to change all of that is almost like suicidal. That you've got 85 people working on that side, and you say, I'm going to get rid of them and find 85 new people that are going to be better than that. That's like shooting yourself in the foot. I mean, we need to go to work on something that is broken, that needs to be fixed, and continually be improving things that are working.
All right. Shad Khan's a pretty smart guy. I got to believe. You could even call him brilliant. Anybody who is able to start a company from scratch, be as successful as he has, he can't believe when he's asked about a complete overhaul that someone is asking, do you want to fire the medical staff, the health and wellness people, what are the ticket takers next? I mean,
It would be the first time in history that anyone that's asking that question is concerned about the medical staff in the building.
Vein.
Yeah.
And I get it. Here's, I think that, look, you're in a position where you're having to kind of defend your decision, and so I think sometimes you, I don't want to say I don't want to avoid the topic, but you also, because I mean, in some people's minds, they may believe that a complete overhaul is all of that, which is the entire football staff, which, the Jaguars operation is kind of cut into two halves. You have the business side and then you have the football side. And many people would believe if you replace everything on the football side, a complete house cleaning, which some people use that term, but when they say that, they only mean coach, general manager.
Yes.
But I think he took that more as a entire football side of things, because under the football side, you have the scouting, video, analytics, health and wellness, all of that. I mean, and that's where he's talking about 85 people, and he's right in what he's saying, and that there's some really good people in that 85.
No doubt.
The video department, the health and wellness, the doctors, the trainers, the analytics department is top notch. I mean, it's all good, but I guess he didn't understand the question, meaning specifically house cleaning as far as coach and GM.
That is the favorable way to look at it. The other one is that look, oftentimes when you ask a question, particularly if it's kind of multi-tiered at times, people will grab onto the part that they want to answer and go with it. And I think he looked at, okay, overhaul, what are you talking about? Yeah. We don't want to overhaul.
Why is the other guy on this conference call on the call?
Right, that's the guy.
Like, that's the question that's being asked.
That's what's being asked.
And I think, and that could have been asked a little bit more specifically.
It could have, absolutely.
Which
I will grant you that.
And I think it was a little bit later on. But, the reality is that he actually answered the question factually. But I don't think that was the point of the question.
It clearly was not the point. That's my point. Like, come on. We know what this press conference is about, and we know
it's not a lie, but it's dishonest.
And is Kevin Kaplan been here for how long? Like, who's saying you have to fire Kevin? What GM gets to pick the medical
I'm here to tell you,
staff?
do not fire Kaplan because he's fixed my body a lot.
I'm not saying that either. Kevin Kaplan from I don't know. I mean, his
Show
reputation
me the fan
is a
that
great
knows
doctor
that that's
and all
the
that.
doctor.
There may be a few.
There may be a handful
because
but
he
the
goes
fans
on the
don't
radio
know
and
that.
things like
I've referred him a bunch of fans. I can tell you that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, nobody's talking about the concession people and all these other. Yes, there are a lot of things that go into it. Yes, when you do move on for the GM, you may overhaul your scouting staff, but they're all going to stay in place through the draft at a minimum.
Yeah.
And plenty of teams change their scouting staffs after the draft. It happens on a regular basis whenever you have turnover like that. So I just thought that was a question maybe could have been asked a little more pointedly, but I feel Shad Khan took a loophole in answering that one from my perspective, at least. All right. If you want to get in with your thoughts and comments and particularly questions for Jeff Lageman here on a Check the Tape Tuesday, we'll see. Jeff did put in the hours. He did watch the tape. So, it's not the biggest issue in front of mind for all Jaguar fans, but
I got asked the question, I think, about 10 times on the plane. You're really watching the film?
Yeah.
That's what I do.
That's what he does.
I mean, it's part of being an analyst. You got to watch the film.
Watch the film, and we discuss it every week, so we will get to that as well. Coming up, more from Shad Khan and Trent Baalke, both yesterday, speaking on that Zoom press conference in the middle of the afternoon. So we'll continue to talk about the subject of the week. You're listening to Jaguars Today. Logs is here, Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark. I'm Mike Dempsey. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Pella Windows and Doors. Got them in my house. Couldn't give you a higher recommendation that it's a product that I use personally. Well, Pella Windows and Doors, simply the best in the industry. Consumer Reports tells me that, but my own experience tells me that as well. My house is more energy efficient. It looks fantastic as well. I'm not looking to move, but the resale value rises every time you go with Pella Windows and Doors. The best in the industry. I replaced all the windows and the sliding glass door in my house, and I couldn't be happier. You can schedule a free consultation by going to PellaJax.com. That's PELLA Jax.com, or just stop by the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway. That's Pella Windows and Doors.
Jaguars Today from the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. Joe C.
We all know this man, and he drinks beer.
Matt Hayes.
Someone's had my driver's license suspended.
And Leon Searcy.
But she's a tight.
XL Prime Time.
They do have a reputation as a wild bunch, don't they?
2 to 4 weekdays on 1010XL.
Epic offers. Factory direct pricing on AC equipment from Epic Cool Heating and Air. Call 904-859-EPIC. Epic discounts for military, police, first responders, and 1010 listeners like you. Epic Cool Heating and Air.
Hey, this is Bert Cannon with the First Coast YMCA. Youth sports at the Y can help nurture your future athlete's potential and experience the joy of being a kid. At the Y, we're providing a safe, clean, and fun environment with basketball, soccer, volleyball, gymnastics, elite skills training, and more. Best of all, participation in Legacy Youth Sports League is free with your family membership. Visit fcymca.org to learn all about youth sports at the Y.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Find Florida Gators basketball on 1010XL. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson, the official window and door replacement partner of the Florida Gators. And by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hicken here with a message from Zero Res. Did you have people over for the holidays? Kids everywhere, dirt everywhere, all over the carpets, the rugs, the sofas, and chairs. Did the kitchen tile take a beating? Sounds like it's time to call my guys over at Zero Res. The Zero Res techs will get the house looking great again. Folks, if you need help cleaning up after the holiday, give Zero Res a call. Right now, 25% off carpet cleaning, 25% off upholstery cleaning. Zero Res. Spell it forwards. Zero Res. Spell it backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. You know, pool design has come a long way, and if your pool is outdated, Stanley Pools specializes in bringing older pools up to date for the whole family to enjoy. That's why I did it a few years ago, and man, I love the way my pool looks now after we added travertine pavers and so much else. Stanley Pools has been serving our community since 1988, so call them today at 269-7277 or find them online at stanleypoolsfl.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
Good drives bring more points. Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville brings you the drive of the game.
Great job
on 1010XL. Drive to the game in luxury with Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville.
Homeowners, listen up. Did you know that 9 out of 10 borrowers get a better deal by calling Loan Pronto? Hey, it's Prosser here, and the Fed has dropped the rates again. The election is over, and Loan Pronto has APRs in the low fives for refis, debt consolidation, and purchase loans. If your current mortgage rate is over 6%, or if you're in the process with another lender, don't settle. Call Loan Pronto now for a second opinion. Lock a lower rate today and close in as little as 2 weeks, often with no appraisal. And if you act now, you won't make your first payment till February. This 5-minute call saves homeowners an average of $5,000, lower rates and lower fees. So get your Loan Pronto rate quote instantly with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees like those other guys. It's Loan Pronto. Call them at 904-999-1508, or you can visit loanpronto.com. That's Loan Pronto at 904-999-1508, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, on approved credit, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Make a resolution this new year to send all of your friends or family a Kuhn Flowers floral arrangement. E.T. here with 1010XL. Okay, how about sending just one person you love a floral arrangement? Kuhn Flowers can handle it.
Jacksonville's building a fence along the goal line. This is the Superior Fence and Rail Defensive Player of the Game. Superior Fence and Rail, where quality matters.
Trayvon Walker dazzled against the opposition over the weekend. The former number 1 pick tallied 5 tackles versus Indy, with 2 being solo, and added in a sack on what was a great day. Beasting and feasting is how you can describe his season, and Trayvon Walker is your Superior Fence and Rail's Defensive Player of the Game.
If you're tired of your fence looking like a bad hair day, well, it's time for a fence makeover with Superior Fence and Rail. They'll make your yard the talk of the town with a new fence installed by their expert team.
Your fence is fantastic. My fence is giving all of my neighbors some serious pick and envy. Thanks, Superior Fence and Rail.
So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail for your fence installation project today.
SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jeff Lageman Tuesday
is brought to you by
Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
Somebody on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, which, by the way, you can reach at 641-1010. Same number for the Garber Automall phone lines.
I always want to drink a beer when I hear that song.
Is
there anybody got a Modelo?
Modelo?
Anybody got a Modelo around? I need a
Coward
Modelo.
probably does. I don't know where he keeps it, but I would bet you there's Modelo in this building, and Joe Coward would know.
I've never had one, by the way. Is it good?
It's okay. Yeah, I like it. It's not bad. It's one of the best-selling beers in America.
Do you put a lime in it or not?
I didn't.
Okay.
But I don't know if that's.
I wouldn't ask that question to Rick Ballou. I wouldn't want to offend him.
You know what it was? We went to London. The only trip I made.
Mm-hmm.
The first year 1010XL had the Jags. They played Dallas, right? And that was when they were going for the whole week. So I was going, and they were bringing me guys for the show. It was fantastic, right? It was a good environment and all that. But one night, the crew, like the radio broadcast crew, including Frank Frangie, went out to a couple pubs in the area. But we're thinking, we're on vacation basically, right? Everything's open till 2 a.m. No, it's Wednesday, right? And so pubs were closing at like 10.
Yeah, they close early there.
They really closed pretty early. So we came back to the Grove, and we're like, hey, Frank, why don't you whip out that credit card and order us up some beer from the kitchen? And he did.
Wow.
But I want to say and Modelo was what we got at the time. At least some of it was Modelo. So I know I've tried it. But it was like maybe two 12-packs, I want to say, $105.
Ooh.
Yeah, $105 for a couple of 12-packs. I want to say they were 12-packs.
That better be good beer.
At that point, it was more about making Frank pay $100 than it was anybody needed to drink anymore.
That's a long ways away from the Milwaukee's Best I used to get in college for about $6.99 a case.
I like Beast Light with the blue can. I like the light Milwaukee's Best. That was the best cheap beer. My favorite cheap beer.
I don't know about
time.
best, but
in terms of cheap beer, the one like you say, you get a whole suitcase for $10. Or
I don't know, man. Busch Light was right there in the running.
You know what? The other one, Schaefer, is what my uncle used to drink, right? And so I actually had a taste for it as a college student because it was cheap, and I didn't mind it. But I think they had one of the best slogans of all time. Schaefer is the one beer to have when you're having more than one, right? In other words, if you really want to taste this thing, don't drink us, okay? But if you're looking to get sloshed.
That was really their logo?
The one beer to have
that's terrible.
when you're having more than one.
That's terrible.
Yes, that was from way back in the day. Anyway, today, somebody brought up on the text line that it's the 2-year anniversary of the Jaguars defeating the Tennessee Titans in the season finale for the 2022 season. And man, did we feel good about this team. Look at this. Doug Peterson has come in and turn this thing around. I guess it would be the 2-year anniversary or the 3-year? 2-year anniversary.
Yeah. 2 years.
Man, it just
that was the most magical, arguably the most magical year in Jaguars history.
Yeah.
I mean, just because the wins that you had at home, and then the comeback playoff win, the comeback game against Dallas, the comeback against the Ravens. I mean,
it was fantastic.
What a year.
Right? It was that in '96 were the two magic seasons, right? Where you couldn't lose and you didn't lose, and you just kept ripping off win after win after win. So it wasn't that long ago that the Jags were ascending towards the top of the mountain. So hopefully, no matter how you feel about it right now, we can get back to it quickly. All right, let's get some calls going here on a Check the Tape Tuesday. We do have some actual football questions for you that we'll get to coming up, but we'll see what the phone lines bring this morning with Jay on the west side leading things off on Jaguars Today. Good morning, Jay.
Good morning, fellas. I hope you guys are staying warm. And my question is, I was listening to the happy hour yesterday, and Tony made a great question. Who do you guys think is more valuable, the head coach or the GM to the team?
Okay. Logs, I'll let you answer that as a general rule.
I don't want to give you an answer that would be both. Because that's not really answering the question. But for me, it's the general manager. And the reason I say that is that the old saying, it's the Jimmies and the Joes and not the X's and the O's. I think there's great players that have made a lot of great coaches in this league. So my answer would be the GM.
Okay, fair enough. I would say, obviously, if you're picking bad players, you're not going to have a great chance of long-term success or short-term success for that matter. I think there are coaches that are more important than the GM. I'm not saying that Brett Veach is not important in Kansas City. I think Andy Reid's probably more important.
Yeah, and I'm not like sitting there saying that the GM is always more important because I mean they're both important.
Yeah,
I mean
the margin there's thin.
Yeah, I mean you got to be able to. Number one, you got to get players that have the ability to be great, and if you don't have players that have the ability to be great, then you can't be great. I mean you can be good, and then great coaches are the ones that maximize a player's ability. So they're both important. So that's why you have to have both, and you have to have both of them working together, rowing in the same direction together. And if they're not, then as an organization, you're going to flounder.
Well, I had a question. I don't have it right in front of me, but while I'm kind of thinking of it, somebody asked about the offensive line, right? Mm-hmm. They had a decent reputation this year for protecting the quarterback. Didn't give up a ton of sacks, all right? At times, didn't give up a ton of pressures, had some really clean games. But, we saw both running backs this week under 3 yards a carry. There's not many holes. Short yardage has been an issue. So the question was, is it more about the players that you have comprising the offensive line, or what can coaching do to help improve a solid pass blocking unit? Can you transform that type of player into a better run blocking unit as well?
Well, kudos to the offensive line because I think that was the one unit that got better. We had kind of had that discussion last week, and I think probably arguably the most improved unit overall. But can you take what you have personnel wise and make them run block better? The answer and simple answer to me is yes. And I think a commitment schematically to the run, I think, is where it starts. When you kind of look at Doug's offense and Press's offense, it's very quarterback centric. It's a kind of a pass first kind of offense. And if you look at the Detroit Lions and kind of do the comparison, their offense is really a run first offense. Now they've got some horses up front that I think are better than some of the horses that we have up front, and so that gives you the ability to do that. But at the same token, if you're not committed to it, how good can you actually be?
Sure.
And so I think the commitment to it in two ways. One is the actual say, hey, we are going to run the ball. Number two, this is how we're going to do it from a schematic standpoint. And those two things together, I think, will make this group better. And Doug, I think, and Press have put a lot on the quarterback. I think too much at times, especially when Trevor was either hurt or not ready for that much. I think at some point you do what they were doing as far as putting a lot on the quarterback's plate, but I thought that they did it a little bit too soon at times.
All right, there you go. There's your answer. We'll take a quick timeout. If you're on the line, stay there. We'll take you in the order in which you called in at 641-1010 on the Garber Auto Mall phone lines. Jeff Lageman in on a Check the Tape Tuesday. Tony Smith, Dylan Denmark, Mike Dempsey here with you. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Lickety Split. Look, it's cool out right now, but that's the perfect time to make sure that your AC is working because when the temperatures go up, you need help now, like right now, like Lickety Split. You can call Lickety Split, get same-day emergency service, not only for your AC, your plumbing, your home's electrical as well. They have a huge fleet of techs and trucks, which means they're going to be on your issue as quickly as possible with quality and care. And if you want quality and care, call the hair. 4.8 average on Google reviews, online at licketysplitfl.com.
Jaguars Today for the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios.
This is the Mangler. Years of playing football coupled with lifestyle left my feet mangled with neuropathy. I was experiencing burning, tingling, and numbness. I spoke with 2 foot specialists and they told me there was no cure. They were wrong. I found Dr. Nate Riddle in Ponte Vedra. After utilizing his neuropathy treatment for only 2 weeks, I noticed a difference in my feet. I was regaining my feeling and balance. If you want relief from nerve pain, call Dr. Nate for a free consultation at Riddle Wellness, 904-395-5598.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold has recently hit an all-time high at over $2,600 per ounce. Pay bills. Buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
American Electrical is looking for bright minds and hard workers to help light up North Florida. The community continues to grow, and now you can grow your career with a company that will make sure you succeed through commitment. Take advantage of the Electrical Academy, dedicated to training select students. And the best news, it's free of charge. Log on to american-electrical.com to find out more. They're leading the way in electrical contractors on the First Coast, and you can be part of the team. American Electrical, powered by professionalism. Equal opportunity employer.
Here we come. The best defense is a superior fence. Superior Fence and Rail highlights the defensive player of the game. On 1010XL, Superior Fence and Rail, where quality matters.
Everybody, Mike Dempsey here. Listen, I'm all about a sure thing. I like putting my money down knowing I'm going to win, and that's exactly what Awaken 180 was for me, a sure bet. I dropped 25 pounds in just over a month, and let me tell you, the results speak for themselves. Now, imagine this. You start Awaken 180 now, and when February rolls around, you've already lost 20 pounds. Or maybe you're like Matt Hayes, down 40 pounds by March, and don't even get me started on Hacker. Dude's lost over 100 pounds. Life-changing results, and I got to see it firsthand. Awaken 180 isn't some gimmick. You eat, you're never starving, and the weight just comes off fast. No guesswork, no crash diets, just a plan that works, and the best part, it's built to last thanks to free support for life. Don't wait for another failed resolution. Start your new year with the program that is the sure bet. Visit awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800. Make sure this year is the year you win big with Awaken 180.
The Golf Club of Southampton has plenty going on, from a great round to a round with your buds, soaking up some football and great grub. Every Saturday and Sunday at Southampton, enjoy their game day special. Wings tossed in your favorite sauce and a cold pitcher of beer. Membership opportunities to take advantage of, too. Join Southampton with a paid initiation, and you'll get a $500 gift card. Perfect for golf, pro shop purchases, or the clubhouse. Check it out. It's all happening at the Golf Club of Southampton.
Hey gang, Prosser here, and I've been telling you for years about Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Lifetime Enclosures right now running an awesome special for January. Get a complete enclosure done, get free flooring. Now that can save you some money. If you just need flooring, Lifetime Flooring also running a buy one room, get the second room free. Once again, only for January. Now offering flooring coating as well. So give them a call. I know I did. Visit their showrooms just off Phillips Highway. Proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
If you know about artificial turf, you know it needs to be done right. Lauren Brooks here from my friends at Sunshine Turf, a family-owned company that will transform your outdoor space into the oasis of your dreams. A putting green, a pet run, a maintenance-free yard. Trust me, the team at Sunshine Turf are the experts you need to transform your lawn. With the highest quality products and budget-friendly pricing, get clean, low-maintenance synthetic grass by visiting sunshineturf.info or call 904-383-0243 to get a free quote today from Sunshine Turf.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Jag owner Shad Khan remarked on why General Manager Trent Baalke was retained following the dismissal of Doug Peterson.
Because I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. We have a lot of things that are working that can always be improved and will improve.
Baalke expressed that doing his best to get the right person would be a priority.
This is a situation where you go out and you pick the best person you can pick. You go to work, you roll up your sleeves and go to work. Nobody has a crystal ball.
Quarterback Mac Jones expressed his appreciation for fired head coach Doug Peterson.
Look, I have a lot of good things to say about Doug. He's a great coach, a great mentor, great leader of men.
That's your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguar update. I'm Sam Nelson.
XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jeff Lageman Tuesday is serviced by Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
All right, we got these pouring in. Haha, see what I did there? On the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Modelo.
That was good, by the way.
Right, thank you. No lime for Modelo. And then 2 texts later, Modelo with a lime is fantastic. So you do you, as far as that goes. Mickey's private stock being brought. Is that Mickey's Big Mouth? Is that what we're talking about?
I guess.
We used to get them at Jeff's Place Mexican restaurant in St. Augustine for 50 cents. They'd sell Mickey's Big Mouth for 50 cents.
Yeah,
that's where I watched the Tyson Buster Douglas fight.
Why is
back
it
in the day.
that Mickey's and a bucket of rocks was always something they put in a bucket? You know what I mean? It's like it always seemed like it was Mickey's and Rolling Rock.
Rolling Rock, yeah.
Yeah, bucket of rocks.
I never called it a bucket of rock. But, yeah, Rolling Rock in a bucket. Used to get that all the time.
Yeah.
Used to get that at Churchill's Attic. Might not have been 21 at the time. Thank you, Churchill's Attic. Way past the statute of limitations for them as well as me. Hams was the cheapest, somebody said. Let's see. Natty Light, $9.99 for a 24-pack at Winn-Dixie in college. That's about what I paid, like for Bush or
How much?
$9.99. When it was on sale, at least, you get a suitcase for $10.
Yeah, we used to be able to get $6.99, $6 and $7.99 when the Beast went on sale.
Wow, that's awesome. And this
Natty Light.
This guy right here on the text line, we got 30 racks of Milwaukee's Best for $9 on the Marine base back in the day.
Woo!
First few were rough. But, hey, you soldier through, soldier, all right? You get to a certain point, and you're going to be just fine. All right, 641-1010 on the Garber Auto Mall phone lines. This is going to be a litmus test right here for the new year. Byron in Gainesville, generally as enthusiastic and positive,
yes.
Tony, would you say, as any Jaguar fan who calls?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Let's say hello. Byron, Happy New Year to you.
Man, I was going to say that to you guys. Happy New Year. God, an old Navy guy, man. I remember those machines had 50-cent beer, almost like a soda machine, the Big Mouth Mickey. That's why I love you guys. Only in Jacksonville or Lachoway County you can hear this good stuff. Go Navy. Hey, guys, I want to say this here, too, real quick. This is my bad joke of the year. My favorite callers are Regina, and the Jaguars actually stopped the holiday this year. I had a bad Christmas and New Year, the pun intended, if you got that one there. Guys, real quick, guys, before I get through up here. Y'all was into what I was saying. Jeff, guys, I don't care who we got, Baalke, Peterson. For years, we've been asking for now, you guys, I don't watch it that close. So, Jeff, you just said the offensive line is better. So, I forgive me, offensive line, but we don't run the ball. If you look at Saquon Barkley and the guy went to the Baltimore Ravens.
Derrick Henry.
Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, those guys. And listen, if you're not going to get a good running back, Jacksonville, and run the ball, you're not going to make it. It's cold times. It's 17 games. It's injuries. It's not that. Now, I'm not trying to be critical on nobody, but you got to get back to old school. Whoever runs for 100 or more yards win, and you got to have a defensive line. We've been saying this for years. I don't care who the coach or who the whatever GM is. Get a defensive line and offensive line in there, and you'll win games. Thank you, guys.
Duval. I would have been disappointed if we didn't get one there, Byron. Happy New Year to you.
We usually get him to fire it off and close it out. Yeah.
Yes.
And maybe the mood. He's been affected.
No, I get it.
That's all right. That's still as positive as we're going to get this week, I think.
I feel good about that call.
What are your thoughts about?
I think he's right. I think Byron is a very educated football fan. and talking about the lines, which is key to winning. I mean, if you look at some of the better teams that are in the league right now and look at where they're at ranking-wise with offensive and defensive lines, and they're either at or near the top. And we're not there yet. We're not close enough. We need to be better in that category, in those categories.
Yeah, somebody brought up that they had called, I guess, early in the offseason about Derrick Henry. They brought him up yesterday. And where the Jags were, Logs, coming off, just had spent a third-round pick on Tank Bigsby. You've spent a first-round pick on Travis Etienne. He's under contract, at least under your team control, for a couple more years. You had a lot of holes. It didn't seem to me like the best investment to go out and sign a veteran running back based on the circumstances. And if you had Derrick Henry here, Derrick Henry's fantastic. He's probably going to produce better than what we had, certainly. But is he doing what he did in Baltimore with this Jaguar offense without the threat of Lamar Jackson and all that stuff?
The threat of Lamar makes it really, I think, special for Derrick Henry. And that was literally the perfect landing spot for Derrick Henry. You have, the number one rushing quarterback in NFL history, which always changes the count from a defensive perspective because you always have to account for a running quarterback. And that takes people away from the box that can stop Derrick Henry. So perfect scenario for him. He wouldn't have accomplished that in Dallas. He wouldn't accomplish that here. He might have accomplished what he's doing in Philadelphia because their offensive line is to that caliber, and Jalen Hurts is also a legitimate running threat. Not to the level of Lamar Jackson, but he's a legitimate running threat.
All right, appreciate the thoughts there. Let's move along to Alex in New Smyrna Beach. Alex, you're on Jaguars Today. Go ahead, please.
Hey, how you guys doing today? Good morning to you.
Good morning.
I love the show. I just want to say that I do agree with the firing. The timing is right. I do think these guys are just weren't mentally weren't strong. You know, oftentimes we lost close games. It looks like every time something bad happened, everybody just started to compile, and everybody started to lose faith. And I think that's a reflection on coaching. And I do think we do have a couple cornerstone pieces, and we do owe that to Trent Baalke. I don't like the guy, and I don't like to be critical, but I mean, we do have a couple cornerstones, both on offense and defense. Guys are re-signed. I think we throw to score, run to win, and we can't run the ball, and that's why we're losing. The next coach that comes in, I just hope that we do create a good culture, a great environment, and we just need a hard-nosed, physical team.
Of all the things you said, the thing that I really agreed with was the very first thing that he said. You know, you're talking about a football team that last year had the worst collapse in franchise history, losing 5 of 6 games. And then the very first game out of the gate, you go down to Miami and you have one fumble and a little bit of adversity.
All fell apart.
What the hell happened?
Yeah.
I mean,
that
is that the mental toughness of this team where you have one mistake that the whole game goes in the tank?
Even after the fumble, even after Tyreek Hill's touchdown, the 80-yarder, they were leading. The Jags were winning.
Yeah, but I mean, here's the thing that was hard. Did you ever feel the energy? And then you come back home, the home opener, where the hell's the energy?
There wasn't any.
None.
Right.
None.
I mean, you see the Cleveland's one earned the second pick in the NFL draft. They were miserable, terrible.
And got worked.
Yeah.
By a bad team at home, which he came out with nothing.
Probably about the only good performance Deshaun Watson had all year.
So, and from that aspect, I mean, I am a believer that mental toughness and the toughness of a team is reflected from coaching. I don't think there's any doubt. And in that area, we've got to be better. We have to be more mentally tough than this team was this year, you know, because kept getting this comments, that's not who we are, and, you know, we're losing all these one-score games. That's the damn league.
Yeah.
Hello?
Who wins those games determines what you're going to be.
Yes. Yeah. That's what it is.
Look at Kansas City this year is the example of it.
Anyway.
All right. Alex, appreciate the call. Good stuff.
Good call.
Let's go back to the Garber Automall phone lines. Kevin in Oakleaf is up next. Hello, Kevin.
Good morning, guys. So, Happy New Year. So,
Happy New Year.
How about a little enthusiasm with that? Happy New Year, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I was in the process of looking into buying season tickets. And
Okay.
I don't think I'm going to do that right now. And the reason is the Shad Khan take the temperature of the fans in this community. Does he understand that we've been a long-suffering community about a winning Jaguar team? I was an original season ticket holder back in 1995 when the Jaguars first came here. And because of different circumstances, I had to give up those seats. But the way it's looking right now, that we're not going to have a winner because the owner doesn't understand the process of having a winning organization. You keep doing the same thing over and over again, you're going to get the same result. When is he going to answer to the fans? When is he going to understand that these other organizations are doing things to progress their team and become a winner? I don't understand what he doesn't see. Where is he getting his information from? I just don't understand it.
All right.
Everything that I've heard over the last few days from around the league, this was a bad move. But his press conference yesterday, it's almost like he didn't hear what the league is saying.
All right, Kevin, let me jump in. I think you made your point here. To that point, I want to play a cut from Shad Khan yesterday. Let me see if I can grab the cut number here real quick so I can tell Dylan. Dylan, this is going to be cut number 9 from Shad Khan. Next up in the queue. It's a little bit of a long one, but he was asked, who is his brain trust? Who are the people that he goes to outside of Trent Baalke as kind of like his sounding board around the NFL?
Well, I think obviously, Doug was, okay. The coordinators were. So like, a decision like, Trevor, for example. I believe in him, but everyone, whether his position coach, OC, everyone weighed in and it was very positive. And then, outside the football building, I think Ethan is another one. Really competent. You've got analytics that is, gives you a measurement. It's like we were, I think, 20th last year on defensive side. We're 32 now. Okay, so that right there kind of tells you that in trying to get better, we got much worse, and that's part of our problem. So you don't need someone's advice or sounding board to tell you that. I think those metrics kind of speak out very loud. And then you end up with a network of not only other owners, but some of the NFL infrastructure to really get a sense and a viewpoint of, where things are.
All right, this really struck me yesterday. All right, who is your brain trust? Well, my GM. Okay, well, GM's not going to tell you, you should consider a change in the front office. The second guy, or outside, the first guy you mentioned, because it was other than Trent Baalke was the question, was the guy you just fired. So the guy who is presently your head coach, the coordinators, you haven't known Ryan Nielsen for a year. Ethan Wall works for Trent Baalke. The point is, who outside of this bubble is there to tell you that, man, the whole league thinks you're crazy for keeping Trent Baalke? And frankly, that's probably a bit of an exaggeration, but not that much of an exaggeration, that there is head scratching going on with a lot of the national media quoting, anonymous front office sources around the league, because they're not going to go on record and say that kind of thing. And so it seems like, Logs, that Shad is very dependent on what Trent Baalke and the people who already work under him have to say about the situation.
Well, and that's when you hire somebody, you got to be able to you got to be willing to trust them. But at the same token, you have to be able to double check them. And he also mentioned ownership and then other people that were in the league but not necessarily connected to any other team. So I think he has other people that he's probably bounced ideas off of. I mean, we just don't know to what extent. So I don't know if it would be completely accurate to say that he's just listening to the people that are in the CYA mode.
Right. Well, I'll say
for those that don't know what CYA
I think everyone does.
Cover your ass.
Yes, right. Yeah. And, if you're an owner of another team and you don't think the situation is a great one, why would you tell Shad Khan that? You're competing with Shad Khan. I would not trust any owner to give me advice on who to hire or fire.
Well, I think that, look, there's I think even in any business, you have, I think, friends in any business. And even though you're competitors, you still support your friends because at the end of the day, you're all in it together, and I don't see, if I was an owner and we were all owners here and we're all competing, and we're great friends and have known each other for a while and have developed great relationships. I would offer advice to you guys, knowing that we are competitors on the field, because I would know that it's not like the advice that I'm going to give is going to completely change the makeup of where my organization is at. So I don't think that would be unfair or improper.
I hear you. I guess I'm more, I'm more devious than you. You ask me, I'm gonna be like,
the one thing I will say is that you have to be able to check what you're getting told internally, and I think you always have to have that, and I think that is invaluable to have in any organization.
All right, let's take a time out here. If you're on the line, I promise you we'll pick up the pace of getting to you. Had some good calls there, Kevin. Thank you for your contribution to the program today. We continue on our final official Check the Tape Tuesday of the season. Jeff Lageman is here. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Dandy Foods. Getting a little cool out. We don't mind that, right? Because Dandy will warm your belly up. Swing into an area gate station, fill up the tank, and then fill up your stomach with some delicious offerings from Dandy. With the cooler weather here, how about trying a hot roast beef and provolone or an Italian combo that'll melt in your mouth? How about the all-white meat spicy buffalo chicken? But if that's a little too hot for you, nothing beats the big old juicy classic 100% beef cheeseburger. All those options served on fresh ciabatta bread, which is baked locally, delivered daily, because that's what Dandy does. They find the best ingredients, locally source them as often as possible, delivered daily around the First Coast, so everything's fresh. Fantastic variety. Keep the prices in check. They're a thriving Jacksonville-based company, and they've been that for nearly 7 decades. So the next time you're thinking of food on the go in Duval, think of Dandy. That's the name to know. And do what I do when you're hungry. Go out and make yours a Dandy. And do it today.
Jaguars Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios at 1010XL. There are 4 seasons: winter, spring, summer, and Jags football.
To the 5, into the end zone, touchdown!
Jaguar football lives here. 1010XL, home of the Jaguars.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. By now, everyone has heard about saving money on their energy bills. There are all sorts of things you can do to cut energy costs, but most people don't think about their windows.
But Window World knows that the biggest energy loss in almost every home is the windows. There is more energy loss from old builder-grade windows than just about anything else in your home.
You can upgrade your heating and air, your appliances. That's good too. But before you do all that, upgrade your windows to Window World's energy-efficient windows.
Window World's windows are easy to clean, energy-efficient, and have the best guarantee in the business.
Window World's slogan is simply the best for less, and we mean it. You get great American-made windows, and you get to keep more of your money when you buy from Window World. Need any more reasons to buy your windows from Window World? Call them today and set up your free in-home estimate, or go online to windowworldneflorida.com.
Window World,
simply the best for less. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Break up with stinky clothes.
Rinse it out. Every now and then I get a little bit tired of the stinks that just will never come out. Oh, Downy in the rinse change. Every now and then I rinse it out. One wash and clean. Downy Rinse and Refresh, it's a dream.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Fights odor in just one wash. Guaranteed.
Jacksonville's building a fence along the goal line. This is the Superior Fence and Rail Defensive Player of the Game. Superior Fence and Rail, where quality matters.
Trayvon Walker dazzled against the opposition over the weekend. The former number 1 pick tallied 5 tackles versus Indy, with 2 being solo, and added in a sack on what was a great day. Beasting and feasting is how you can describe his season, and Trayvon Walker is your Superior Fence and Rail's Defensive Player of the Game.
If you're tired of your fence looking like a bad hair day, well, it's time for a fence makeover with Superior Fence and Rail. They'll make your yard the talk of the town with a new fence installed by their expert team.
Your fence is fantastic. My fence is giving all of my neighbors some serious pick and envy. Thanks, Superior Fence and Rail.
So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail for your fence installation project today.
SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
The game where every yard counts. One player's performance stands out.
That's what you want from a leader.
Universal Roofing Contracting presents the Offensive Player of the Game.
Touchdown, what a throw.
On 1010XL.
Clean air, cool air, both are extremely important. Trust Florida Home AC to deliver on both with their Remy Halo, the next generation of air quality technology. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC and breathe clean and cool air.
Need extra cash for the holidays? Beaches Jewelry and Pawn is always buying guns, musical instruments, surfboards, and tools, and pays cash money. Beaches Jewelry and Pawn in Jacks Beach. Online at beachesjewelryandpawn.com.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Our slogan, Know Before You Blow, applies to more than just DUI cases. Hi, I'm attorney Lee Lockett of Lockett Law. Battery charges can result in jail time and criminal convictions too, so know before you blow a gasket and hit a loved one or a stranger. Drug crimes like possession of marijuana and cocaine will land you in cuffs too, so know before you blow. In a boating under the influence case, you also have the option to blow or not to blow. So know your options. Know before you blow. Go to knowbeforeyouBlow.com now. Offices Jacksonville.
What is the busiest airport in the world?
Southern Oak Insurance is proud to continue offering coverage statewide. Financial stability makes Southern Oak Insurance a wise choice for your homeowner's insurance needs. Log on to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Hartsfield Jackson Atlanta International Airport is the busiest airport in the world, serving over 100 million passengers.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
There are 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and if you stay in your home long enough, a new roof. Pick it here for our friends at Lockhart Roofing. Nobody better in Jacksonville. How do I know? They are a local certified Master Elite contractor, and that means they have a GAF Master Elite warranty. That's the best in the roofing industry. In this day and age, don't settle for cheaper discount roofers. Lockhart Roofing has been here for decades. They aren't going anywhere. Call my friends at Lockhart Roofing, 994-3851. That's 994-3851. Lockhart Roofing, Jacksonville's best for Jacksonville people.
Here's your 1010XL local sports update, sponsored by USA Park Airport Parking. Florida men's basketball team will take on the number 1 ranked Tennessee Vols tonight. Head coach Todd Golden will look to correct issues that caused the loss to Kentucky.
We did not defend anywhere near the level in take one and the other opportunities that we missed were at the foul line.
Tip-off is at 7. Hear the game live on 1010XL AM. The Georgia football program took a major hit when edge rusher Damon Wilson announced he'll enter the transfer portal per On3. He's a Florida native, heavily recruited by most of the powerhouses. Wilson has 2 years of eligibility left. Our home pro teams around the state in the NBA, the Orlando Magic on the road in New York Monday defeated the New York Knicks. The Magic shut down a New York Knicks team missing Karl Anthony Towns. That's your 1010XL local sports update. I'm Sam Nelson.
At 11:02, it's 44 degrees. Time at 10 brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler, Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Check the Tape Tuesday with Jeff Lageman. Is brought to you by Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
All right, news from around the NFL. Tony will get to more coming up, but Ran Carthon out as general manager of the Tennessee Titans after 2 seasons, hired there in January of 2023, and then, as we were discussing on the break, given the additional title of executive vice president last January, having oversight of all football operations, leading them to the first pick overall in the draft.
Yeah, I think I saw he had 4 years left on his deal in Tennessee. So a third of the way through that contract.
That's life. Look, man, if you're an owner, you got to eat those things sometimes.
Well,
That's
no doubt.
I
think there's a little bit of regret there. You know, I mean, you have Ran Carthon comes in as GM. All of a sudden, Vrabel's shown the door.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Ran gets the title, added executive vice president, and then your performance went down. So I think in that situation, ownership was going, wait a minute. We just let go of a guy that everybody in the league wants to talk to now.
And that is part of the problem that, let's say you hire a coach, and in a year you haven't seen significant improvement, so you can't, only you could, but you don't blame that coach. You just got here. It's some of the same problems. Now we're going to turn our attention. Maybe it is the GM. We get a new GM, and it would be just like Ran Carthon coming in with an existing coach in your first year. Okay, if it doesn't work by the end of that year, I'm looking to hire my new guy. I'm angling for that, right? Because that extends my longevity. My clock resets when I get to hire that coach, and you get them on different timetables. It's one thing if you've got a long-standing GM like Ozzie Newsome, right? And they didn't turn over coaches all the time, but you had confidence that the front office knew what they were doing, whatever direction they were going in, it was going to provide a good result.
So. Yeah, and Ozzie Newsome, I mean, gosh, if you could replicate that, you know, I mean, you're talking about, longevity, just the picking of players.
Phenomenal.
I mean, year after year. I mean, it's, Bill Polian, Ozzie Newsome, some of the greatest general managers in history.
No doubt. All right, let's get to it. We got them stacked up. So let's try to roll through some of these calls on a Check the Tape Tuesday. Brian in Arlington is next on Jaguars Today. Go ahead, Brian.
Hey, fellas. Jaguar fans need to be careful because Bogey's at least better than Gene Smith and Caldwell. I mean, those were two just awful GMs we had. But here's the thing, though, is at the beginning of the year, if you flip coaches between Johnson and Peterson, who are you going to take? You still going to take the Lions or you going to take the Jags? I'm going to stick with the Lions because, if the play calls come down to it, it's Jahmyr Gibbs and the offensive line of the Lions. They're a better unit, which comes to your general manager, which, like what was spoken before, you got to have both sides working together, getting good players and coaching and playing well. You're not going to succeed if you don't have both. And here's my question for Jeff. How much, Jeff, do you think this is with Khan being comfortable with Balky, with Tony Khan? I just have a feeling there's a lot with Tony Khan working with Balky that they're comfortable with, and if you bring in a new GM, is that GM going to be willing to work with Tony doing the things? How extensive is he involved with everything behind the scenes? I think that has a lot to do with it because it doesn't make sense not cleaning house unless you're really comfortable with the guy that's there, of course. So.
All right. Thank you, Brian.
You know, the question about Tony, I mean, Tony's running the AEW. You know, I mean, that's not like, you know, we see Tony on a day-to-day thing. I mean, he's got a lot of business interests.
He's got soccer.
He's got a lot going on.
Like, I talked to somebody today that made the same point. They're like, Tony's not around as much as you think. Tony's not.
It's not like he's there day-to-day.
Right.
You know, but I will say he's an amazing, just like Shad. I mean, they're incredibly smart. And, you know, for me, I'm like a single person. I'm a single task person. You know, I mean, I kind of, you know, I got to have the blinders on, you know, concentrate on what I'm doing. I mean, and Tony's one of those people. He's amazing. He can have, you know, different things going on at the same time and still handle them without even missing a beat. I mean, he's just that smart. I mean, he's one of the smartest human beings I've ever met. I mean, they just don't make people like that, you know, so. But I don't think that has anything to do with
that's a rumor that's been going around that candidates are not going to want it because the influence that the owner's son, I'm using the air quotes, is going to have on the thing. And there are all kinds of rumors that float around, and generally we don't know how much veracity there is to them at all, right? I had so many people that adamantly told me, oh, it's a done deal. They're both back. Or it's a done deal. Neither one of them's back. Well, clearly, it wasn't a done deal on either front.
No. I will say this. I mean, I get the impression that football is Shad's baby. I mean, this is his. You know, it's his decisions, his call. You know, and everything that he's ever said, he's gave no indication that, you know, even when he was asked about who he listens to. I mean, he didn't mention Tony. He didn't mention, you know, anybody else in the family.
Right. And as far as the coaching decision, he made it adamant. This is my decision. Yeah. My decision. Nobody's influencing
and that's from what I've gathered that it's his call.
All right. Let's go. Is it Chin on the west side? Go ahead, Chin.
Hey, Mike, Jeff, and Jaguars Today crew. Happy New Year to you.
And to you.
I just wanted to ask you a quick couple of questions, Jeff. First of all, who do you like? If it was out of Joe Brady and Liam Cohen as a coach. And then the next thing I wanted to ask you is, do you think the loss of Jim Bob Cooter was one of the reasons why the offense took a step back? Thanks, guys.
Good question. Thank you, man.
Yeah, I actually talked with Jim Bob Cooter before the game. You know, he's the offensive coordinator in Indianapolis for people that don't know. And then here he was, I believe, the passing game coordinator with Press Taylor, or at least involved. And I don't remember the exact title.
I think you're right. I think he was passing game coordinator, and McCoy has been the quarterback's coach the whole time.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And nice guy. And I was talking to him before the game, just a sidebar. I was like, can we run the football today? You know, I'll go over and I'll talk to Press too and encourage the same thing, you know, trying to get out of there early, you know, last game of the year, joking around, obviously. But
let's go to overtime, Log.
I know. Went to overtime. I was like, what are we doing? But, you know, could his loss been an impact? Sure. I mean, I think everybody has a contribution to it. And his contribution was obviously, I think, felt in 2022. But, you know, I don't know the extent of that contribution, and was it that much of an impact, or his departure led to a lot of the demise of the kind of decline of the offense, so to speak. I don't know the answer to that.
What about Brady versus Cohen? Do you have an opinion on either?
I don't, because I don't know him personally, you know, and I don't want to comment on guys that I don't know, you know, but I will tell you that, you know, if you make a few phone calls on guys, and you can find out pretty quick, and you'd make phone calls to areas you probably wouldn't think. I mean, the one thing about coaches is that, and if you're going to interview them, you really have to do the vetting thoroughly. And when I say the vetting, you want to talk to everybody where that coach has been. And I'm talking, you want to talk to the equipment staff, the video department, the training staff, other coaches that have worked with him, everybody that you can possibly talk to, because that's the only way I think that you get a clear picture of what an individual is like. Because everybody that all of a sudden can sit down and do a 10, 15-minute interview can turn it on and be coached and handle that very well. But what you want is a true look at the individual through thick and thin, so to speak. Good times and bad times, and good moments and in bad moments. And that's the only way that you get it, is that if you do that vetting process extremely thoroughly.
All right, appreciate the call. Let's get Kevin in Savannah before we hit the break. Kevin, go ahead.
Good morning. I just wanted to say a couple of things about what's transpired over the decision to fire Doug Peterson. First of all, the draft is not something that Balky goes in and says, we're taking this guy, this guy, this guy. As been said many times, it's a collaboration between the coaches, the scouts, the GM, and it's not a decision that's taken lightly where Balky will step in and say, nope, we're not going to do that because I don't like your opinion. I say we take this guy. And I believe it all probably has to go through Khan and other executives before the decision's made. It's not some fly-by-night, we're going to pick this guy. And the other thing that I'd like to say is, people are saying, where did Shad Khan get the information that the offense was predictable? Come on. I mean, if you've watched the games, even the other defenses, when we do a running play, it's like they snipped it out before they knew it was coming. We've all seen this. I mean, even to the point where we do the check down where the quarterback, both Trevor and Mac Jones, they swipe their hands on their chest like they're calling the play off or they're calling another play. Almost every time they do that, it's a running play. Now, if that's not predictability, I don't know what is. But I like the decision to keep Balky, a little bit of stabilization there, and I'm looking forward to the new coach.
All right, thanks. Appreciate it, Kevin. I don't know if there's anything particularly to add to that unless you've got
just the predictability part. I mean, and Shad used those terms, and I think at times that the great teams that you face are the ones that are predictable because they're going to line up, and here's what's coming. Can you stop it? From that standpoint, that can be a good thing. For some teams, being unpredictable can be a lot better. I mean, at times you want to be unpredictable, but at times you also want to be predictable because that means you're damn good at what you're doing.
Right, and as Shad said, it's one thing if you got the top 22 players or whatever. If you're dominant personnel-wise,
correct,
then you can dictate, and it doesn't matter if they know what's coming. But
facing the Buffalo Bills back when it was the K-Gun, Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas, Andre Reed, Pete Metzlars. And we knew what was coming. It was belly weak and belly strong. And the hard part was stopping it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was tough.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the Jags are a long way off personnel-wise from those early 90 Buffalo Bills. Dylan passed this along to me from Adam Schefter. According to sources, Jaguars head coach interview wish list is expected to include – this is such a vague – I could write this. Source is expected to include. Does it include or does it not include, Mr. Information Man? Expected to include, among others, Mike Vrabel, Aaron Glenn, and Ben Johnson. We've already heard that they've requested interviews.
Vrabel would be the new name.
Right, would be the new name, and he didn't include Liam Cohen in there. And expected to include, what is that?
You could write that for every team.
You could write that about almost anything. And, that's what they expected, and I guess it was wrong. Make a report that says these are the guys they've requested. Anyway, so just more vagary from some of the national guys out there. Anyway, I'm curious who's the sources are on that as well. It could have been me and you, Tony, for that matter. It wasn't, for the record.
Correct.
At least it wasn't me. All right, we'll come back. More with Jeff Lageman on a Check the Tape Tuesday. You're listening to Jaguars Today on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Jaguars
Today.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios of 1010XL. From the preseason to the playoffs and every day in between.
Each man individually preparing himself to be the best he could possibly be. Better than he's ever been. Because that's what it's going to take.
At 1010XL, the season never ends.
I'm Clayton Bromberg, the chairman of Underwoods. With Christmas behind us and 2025 here, the last thing you want to hear is somebody trying to sell you something. That's why at Underwoods, we'd like to just stop and say thank you to all the people that came in our stores over the last year. Whether you bought from us or not, we want to thank you for coming by and giving us the chance to help. In North Florida, there are a lot of people trying to sell you jewelry. But at Underwoods, we consider it an honor for somebody to come in and just give us that chance to help. And if we do a good job, we might get a chance to serve again. Having served North Florida since 1928, all of us here understand what a customer really gives us during that visit to Underwoods, their trust. And it's up to us to do everything we can to keep it. So on behalf of everybody on the Underwood team, thanks again for coming into our stores. And we wish each of you a Happy New Year.
Start your new year off healthy and get screened at Ackerman Urology for common cancers of the prostate, bladder, and kidney. Early detection is key with 5 locations across Northeast Florida. Visit AckermanUrology.com.
Kick off the new year with a new look for your home. It's the Renewal by Andersen New Year's sales event. For a limited time, save 20% on their energy-efficient windows and patio doors designed to keep your home comfortable all year. Plus 0 down, no payments, and 0% interest for 12 months. Offer expires January 31st. Renewal by Andersen, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
Pickett here for Bound 9 Associates, where you'll find Jacksonville's most esteemed eye doctors at each of their locations. After being selected for one of the most competitive ophthalmology fellowships in the world, Dr. Frank Bowden is frequently called upon for his expert opinion. He is currently one of the few cornea and external disease specialists in the area and the founder of Bound 9. Visit Bound 9 Associates today and experience the difference. Bound 9 Associates, keeping the First Coast focused.
A lot of companies will tell you they're the best. At Custom Tree Surgeons, they show you every time. Custom Tree Surgeons has built an all-pro team. Every tree service professional has years of experience, continually trained and certified. They know what, when, and how to handle any job. It gets done efficiently and quickly by a team of experts. So for tree trimming, removal, stump grinding, and emergency services, forget any name other than Custom Tree Surgeons. There is no job they can't do better. Go to our website, CustomTreeSurgeons.com. That's CustomTreeSurgeons.com, and let them show you how the job is supposed to get done.
Find the best-kept secret in Jax at the Moss Fire Grill. From $5 margaritas to made-from-scratch Southwest cuisine, find yourself relaxing or celebrating at Jacksonville's first-ever rooftop. Visit Moss Fire Grill in Riverside.
See you on the rooftop.
Sometimes winning and losing comes down to one play. There's only one performance painting, high-performance play of the game on 1010XL.
Pickett here with a message from Zero Res. Did you have people over for the holidays? Kids everywhere, dirt everywhere, all over the carpets, the rugs, the sofas, and chairs? Did the kitchen towel take a beating? Sounds like it's time to call my guys over at Zero Res. The Zero Res techs will get the house looking great again. Folks, if you need help cleaning up after the holiday, give Zero Res a call. Right now, 25% off carpet cleaning, 25% off upholstery cleaning. Zero Res, spell it forwards. Zero Res, spell it backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
Aunt Linda clogged the guest bathroom. Your nephew thought the AC was a snow machine. And let's not even talk about the kitchen sink after that turkey grease incident. Ooh.
Congratulations, your family finally left. But the mess stayed behind.
Don't worry. Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning can fix it all. From backed up pipes to overworked AC units, we've got you covered.
Start the new year fresh, because your house deserves it.
Call Duck Rooter today at 904-862-6769. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Right now, get $50 off any service of $150 or more.
You don't have to be a football star to get a signing bonus. The team at Republic Services needs your skills, and they're paying up to $5,000 for you to join the roster. You'll be joining a winner. As an essential business, the Republic Services trucks have not stopped rolling with hourly and weekly pay and better benefits and vacation packages than the rest of the league. Driver trainees, $1,000 sign-on bonus. CDL drivers, $3,000. Diesel mechanics, $5,000 bonus. Join the winning team at Republic Services today. Visit republicservices.com.
Equal opportunity employer. Collisions happen on every play in football. Collisions also happen every day on the road. If you need auto body repair, from a $30 job to a $30,000 job, trust San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
Living on Amelia Island, having fun in Fernandina Beach? No matter what brings you to the fun, cozy town, make sure you check out the tap room at Mocama Beer Company. With a full flight of craft creations, from the Cosmico IPA to the Motor, the perfect pilsners and lagers, matching memories and some Mocama magic is what it's all about. Mocama Beer Company in Fernandina Beach, near the big water where the sun is born. And look for more Mocama craft
at your local Total Wine or ABC Liquors.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Jeff Lageman Tuesday
is brought to you by
Napa Auto Care on 1010XL.
You know, this happens. This happens in a press conference as well. You ask a multi-tiered question. The person who's being asked can just focus in on the part that they want to answer, and that's what they do. I answer the question, right? And you don't really get the answer you're seeking, which is why it's good to ask shorter, more direct questions. So sometimes when people call in, they have, I understand, they don't have 2 hours every day to talk about it, so they go through a laundry list of different points, right? Mm-hmm. And we don't react to every single point that everyone makes because we'd never get through a segment with another caller. But somebody made the point here, and I think it was good to bring this back up to a previous caller. Might have been, I don't want to say in case I was wrong on the name, but saying that Trent Baalke's better than Gene Smith and Dave Caldwell. Well, yes. But is that the standard? Or is it to be better than Ozzie Newsome? You know what I mean? I know Ozzie's not a GM anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
To be the best of the best. It's not good enough to be better than guys that didn't get it done in your organization in the past. So, yes, that one did go by without comment because sometimes we don't want to take every off-ramp and go down there. But that did strike me as well. Like,
look,
when he said
the reality is that everybody's got to be better.
Absolutely.
Trent's got to be better. His staff has to be better. You got to be better in free agency than you were this past year.
Big time.
You've got to be great in the college draft. That's the lifeblood of every franchise. And, look, Trent's got to be better. Everybody's got to be better.
Yeah.
If this organization is going to get to where they need to be, everybody has to be better.
Yeah, the Jags are the Jags. Brian Thomas Jr. is already a top 25 wide receiver in yardage in franchise history. That's the history of this franchise. So comparing anyone historically to this group, there's not a whole lot of cream at the top of a whole lot of lists and a whole lot of categories. They're just not there.
Well, you can sit there and go pick by pick and criticize some of the picks and decisions that Trent has made. Look, in free agency, he didn't exactly have a great year, okay, this past year.
Mitch Morse was solid.
But some of the other ones, and whether Eric Armstead chose to play defensive end or defensive tackle, I don't know that. But the reality is the production did not match what you expected to get. So I would say that you didn't do well there. Hopefully in the future that pays better. Devin Duvernay didn't pay many dividends. Darby didn't pay very many dividends. Then you look at some of the draft picks that he's had. The trading down to still get Brian Thomas Jr. was genius. You look at Jarian Jones, damn good pick. Mason Smith, we were thinking at the beginning of the year, terrible.
Cam Little's your kicker for the next decade.
And arguably a Pro Bowl caliber kicker.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not all bad.
No.
But, he does have to be better.
I feel like we're on a professional volleyball team. You have just set me up to spike this one into the corner as you brought up Eric Armstead. Here was Eric Armstead in the locker room yesterday, Dylan, if we could fire this one up, explaining his desire to play more inside next year.
Yeah, I'm going to move back inside next year. That's going to be my plan. That was what I wanted to do this season as well, too. But, there's situations that you have to deal with, in this league. And, so I'm going to switch back inside, which was what I wanted to do this season. And I'm going to be back playing to, an elite player that I know I can be.
That would be news to the coaching staff. All right. Ryan Nielsen came out publicly and said that Eric Armstead's the one who wanted to play defensive end. I've heard others have confirmed that as well. So I don't know if this is revisionist history or what, but
I do know this. He wasn't playing at where he needed to be at for the best results for this team this year. I think that's pretty easy to figure that out.
Agreed.
The other part that I don't like what I just heard is that I'm going to move back inside. Well, last time I checked, there's going to be a new coach coming in and a new defense. And I think the best answer is always in this situation, as I've used this before, we're going to I hope they do whatever's best for the team because I'm willing to do whatever's best for the team. That's the best answer that you can have. And I wish Doug Peterson had said that many times this year in response to certain questions. And if I could coach Eric Armstead up, I would tell him the same thing. Best answer in that situation is I'm willing to do whatever is best for the team.
Fair enough. Let's get John and Nocatee. Thanks for hanging on, John. What can we do for you this morning?
Right. I've got a couple comments about Trent Baalke. I think I'm going to support Shad Khan on this. I mean, I don't know a lot about – I mean, I like football. I watch football. But whatever happens, in the back room, I've never managed a football team, right? So the way I see it, over the last few years since Baalke's been here, I've heard a lot of negative things about him personally. Like, people don't like him. Like, right, he doesn't have a good relationship with coaches. It seems like back offices don't like him. And I think the people don't like him, right? I remember in 21, all the clowns, right? So I wonder how much of this is personal against Trent Baalke versus his performance. Because I remember even 4 or 5 months ago, you guys raving about the roster, reservations of the offensive line. But on paper, I heard it said nationally that we have a good team. But so if on paper it's a good team and it doesn't translate to the field, isn't that coaching? Isn't that organization? Not necessarily the folks. So, and also, when we look back, hindsight's 2020. The free agency, he did a poor job. Well, because what you just said, it's what we expected. We expected Armstead to be a good player, and he didn't live up to expectations. So it's easy to go back and say it now, but at that time, we all thought it was a good team.
All right,
and it was a good job.
John, appreciate the call. That's fair enough. But the bottom line is we can all have our opinions on what we expect those players to be. There's one guy whose job it is to make sure that he's signing the right guys, and that's the guy who signs those guys. So I get your point. Nothing is all bad here, and Jeff made that point. Trent Baalke's had some hits. But when you say, nationally, and I don't know who you're referring to, the feeling is the Jags have a good team. Like, I see Ian Rappaport put out yesterday that this is a stacked roster. I'm sorry, Ian Rappaport is an information guy, not an opinion guy. That makes me think that literally that came from the desk of Trent Baalke to Ian Rappaport. That's the way it reads. I don't know if that's the truth or not, but that is the way it reads to me, is that Trent Baalke's like, hey, man, here's the narrative. We got a roster. It's the coach's fault. I mean, that's clearly, to me, again, my opinion, what he sold to Shad Khan, that the roster's great. It's fantastic. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, I do think it was a better roster than a 4-win group, Tony.
Yeah, that's why everyone should be fired.
But at the same time, there's plenty of holes on this roster.
For sure.
And we can be excited about guys they sign. We're going to be excited anytime they sign somebody because it's new blood. We hope the guy's going to work out. It's not my job to make sure that guy is the right guy. That's the GM's job to make sure he's signing the right guy. So, anyway, I appreciate it. We're not, no one's trying to steer the conversation one way or the other. We're taking them in the way they come in. There have been some pro Shad Khan / Trent Baalke decision people, and there are plenty on the other side as well. John, we appreciate your thoughts on it. Let's come back. We got to go around the league. And by the way, Jeff will be back next week. I don't know if this is breaking news to Jeff, but we hope that you're available to come back next week. So we can focus more, with an eye towards some of the, even though it's technically the last Check the Tape Tuesday, we're not getting to a lot of on-field stuff, and that's fine. We definitely want to spend some time doing that with you before we wrap up for the season. So just have that in mind and continue to take your calls on the other side as well. It's 641-1010 on the Garber Auto Mall phone lines. This is Jaguars Today on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. Hey, folks, Mike Dempsey here for Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Just celebrated their 10-year anniversary. You know what? You can celebrate milestones with Awaken 180 because once you hit your goal weight, whatever that is, mine was 25 pounds, Hacker over 100 pounds, whatever that number is, once you get there, Awaken 180 is going to help you stay there and check off that 1 month, that 2 months, that 1 year anniversary of dropping those pounds and keeping that weight loss off. Dropping pounds has never been the problem for a lot of people. It's maintaining that weight loss, and free coaching and support for life has been the backbone of the Awaken 180 program for 10 years. And 10 years later, 23,000 clients have lost a combined 750,000 pounds, and along the way eliminated the need in many cases for cholesterol medication, blood pressure medication, even sometimes type 2 diabetes medications. Feel better, be healthier with Awaken 180, and people will notice as well. You can schedule your consultation online at awaken180weightloss.com. That's Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Jaguars Today. You're at the home of the Jaguars in the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Open enrollment is here, so it's time to secure health coverage for your family. Whether you need Affordable Care Act plans, dental, or Medicare, contact Florida First Insurance Group on University Boulevard, an award-winning Florida Blue agency well known for providing superior service. Theo Mitchelson and his team at Florida First make the process easy and stress-free with medical and dental insurance you can count on. Plus, listen to this. Based on eligibility, many people pay absolutely nothing for coverage. Contact Theo Mitchelson and the Florida First Insurance Group today and let your health be their priority. And a reminder for Florida Blue members, visit Sanitas Medical Center with 3 locations in town offering primary care, walk-in services, an on-site pharmacy, and mental health support. SANITAS Medical Center, Florida First Insurance Group, and Sanitas Medical Center, a winning team in Northeast Florida.
Mia here. Since 1982, Closets by Design has specialized in creating dream spaces for every budget. My designer, Frances, made the process so easy. She came to my house and designed a walk-in closet that's not only beautiful, but incredibly functional for me and Beau Valentine. Call today to schedule your free in-home consultation at 800-293-3744 or visit closetsbydesign.com and take advantage of their 40% off New Year savings this month only, including 18-month special financing. Closets by Design.
This is Tony Baselli, Pro Football Hall of Famer. I was known for protecting our quarterback. These days, I'm extending that protection to a different arena, your home. I have partnered with Heritage Roofing of North Florida, your premier local roofers with over 25 years of experience. Heritage is your go-to roofer for hurricane preparation with same-day inspections and estimates. They also work with all insurance companies. Let Heritage Roofing of North Florida safeguard your home and family. Visit heritagenfl.com for your free estimate today.
State license CCC 1335410.
When the heat's on high or the chill is too much, who you gonna call? Cool Cats Heating and Cooling is locally owned and operated with a perfect touch. You'll keep your home just right, day or night. AC to heating, don't take a beating. Call the coolest cats in town. With a 5-star Google rating, they're your neighbors, ready to help. So get your paw of approval from Cool Cats Heating and Cooling, the coolest cats in town. CoolCatsJax.com.
Mia here. When it comes to roofing, whether it be shingles, metal, or most repairs, there is one name that has protected your home since 1999. Pro Jax Roofing. Serving all of Northeast Florida, Mike and his guys have been repairing and replacing roofs for 25 years. Need insurance help? Mike's team can help. Raised in a military family, Mike provides great attention to detail with unparalleled quality and workmanship. They also have warranties, so you can have peace of mind. Call Mike today for a free estimate or online at projaxroofingfl.com.
If offense and defense don't win the game, sometimes it's up to the special teams.
And here comes the field goal team. They've got to hurry.
After the game, catch the Crown Royal Special Teams Player of the Game. Live generously and life will treat you royally on 1010XL.
Family owned and managed for 20 plus years, Hidden Hills Golf Club boasts a unique and welcoming atmosphere. Visit us at hiddenhillsgc.com to book your next round on our Arnold Palmer signature course. You'll be glad you did.
Making a difference in our community for 2025, Paul Martinez here, President and CEO of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Northeast Florida. The Boys and Girls Clubs offers a safe environment to youth every day with homework assistance, a hot meal, career readiness, and character and leadership programs. 57% of club alumni say the Boys and Girls Club saved their lives. Help us grow our outreach as we serve the kids in our community throughout our 59 clubs. Go to bgcnf.org to donate and learn more.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Multi-unit hair grafting is now available at IHRS and can give you 3 times more hair in one procedure over a traditional hair transplant.
Multi-unit hair grafting gave me more hair in one procedure and within my budget.
You can grow your hair back with this exclusive new procedure. Call for a free evaluation. Call IHRS 904-777-IHRS 777-IHRS 777-4477.
Make a resolution this new year to send all of your friends or family a Kuhn Flowers floral arrangement. RJ Saunders here with 1010XL, and okay, how about sending just one person you love a floral arrangement? Kuhn Flowers can handle it.
This is Dr. Steve Crenshaw, assistant team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Jag owner Shad Khan didn't want to scapegoat Doug Peterson. He says they were all in concerning the disappointing season.
We're all in this together. That includes me, obviously, includes Trent, includes everyone, on the football side.
General Manager Trent Baalke doesn't see a major overhaul and outline what needs to be done.
We don't need to fix everything. We just need to fix some things. And identifying that person that can come in, the process isn't going to change.
Tight end Evan Ingram shared his thoughts on Doug Peterson being let go.
It's the league. When you don't win, there's changes that come from in all areas, coaching, management, and the players.
At your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguar Update, I'm Sam Nelson.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
All right, again, Jeff will be back with us next week. We'll be looking more from an on-field perspective, what this team needs to do to become more competitive instantly in 2025, and is that attainable in one off season? So also got every phone line loaded. At this point, just got to ask you to please, if you've got a question for Jeff, get to the question. We get it. There are a lot of opinions and statements being made, and that's fine, but we want to make the best use of the rest of the time we have. Right now, the Jags have put out a list of candidates who they have requested interviews with. Tony's got that and more as we go around the NFL.
Now, Gems Around the NFL. Brought to you by Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jax Beach.
That list of candidates would be Kellen Moore, Todd Monken, Joe Brady, Liam Cohen, Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, Patrick Graham, and Robert Saleh. At least guys that they're going to be having an interview or have requested an interview with those gentlemen. So step one in the process of finding a new head
Didn't
coach.
hear Vrabel on there.
No Vrabel
right?
on
and
that list.
but Schefter told us that sources indicate that they probably could want to maybe talk to Mike Vrabel. Possibly.
I wouldn't be surprised if Vrabel interviews with one team, and that'd be the team that hires him in New England. We'll see.
No, he's already interviewed with the Jets.
Yeah, what happens with all that? The Tennessee Titans have fired general manager Ran Carthon, which we mentioned earlier. Indianapolis wide receiver Michael Pittman said on Monday that he played through a back fracture this year, that surgery is still a possibility for him. Jalen Hurts is still not clear concussion protocol there in Philadelphia. Green Bay wide receiver Christian Watson is believed to have suffered a torn ACL on Sunday, so he's not going to be available this week. Baltimore Ravens wide receiver Zay Flowers considered day-to-day with a knee injury that he suffered on Saturday against Cleveland. Amari Cooper still hasn't reported to the team. He was away from the team in Week 18 for personal reasons, but still hasn't reported to the team, so his availability for the Buffalo Bills wildcard round very much up in the air, as we're just a few days away from the first weekend of the NFL playoffs.
Yeah, again, hope the best. I don't know what Josh Hines-Allen's situation is, so, just hope that it's one that is resolved in the best possible fashion, whatever it is.
Yeah, I know him and his wife have kids, and I don't know if it's a family thing or what, but I made the comment before the game because I'm sure there's people out there, unfortunately, that would think that, how can a player not play in the last game for personal reasons? You should always play. Josh Hines-Allen is one of the best, most stand-up guys on the planet. And if Josh Hines-Allen is missing a game for personal reasons, I'm praying for him. And I hope everything's okay. Because I know that guy ain't missing a game unless it's it's a real serious situation.
Well, you mentioned kids. Congrats to Trevor and Marissa, who had their baby, over 10 pounds. Man.
Sleep is never going to be the same as you knew it.
Ooh, doggy. I was 9 pounds, 9 ounces when I was born.
That's a big boy.
That was a big one. My dad was 11'11" when he came
Your
out.
dad was
11 pounds, 11 ounces. They must have overcooked him or something. I don't know what was up with that. But,
Mama was eating some bacon.
I guess. My grandma. All right, let's get to it. Again, if you've got a question for Jeff, let's try to get to it as quickly as possible, please, as we go to Lance in Atlantic Beach next up. Go ahead, Lance.
Hey, fellas. Thanks for taking my call. Quick thing. The press conference was a little cringy. Would you compare it to Dumb and Dumber or Groundhog's Day? I'll take my comments off the air.
All right. I'm just going to move on at this point. We've weighed in on the press conference.
Yeah, the only thing that I would add is that I wish it were done, where it was all together and in person. I just think it has a better look, and it's just a little bit more personal that way.
All right. Let's go to Jeff in Orange Park. Jeff, go ahead, please.
Hey, fellas. How's it going? Just wanted to hear you guys' thoughts about Todd Monken coming on as the head coach. A little bit about the guy that I've read, Brandon Weeden from Oklahoma State going in the first round, obviously didn't amount to much. Nick Mullins, when he was head coach at Southern Miss, they turned around that program. Stetson Bennett, and then, also ultimately Lamar Jackson. I think this franchise, we need a quarterback whisperer, someone that's going to revive our $55 million a year quarterback. What do you guys think?
Well, it's a great question, and I think it kind of leads me to the conversation about head coaching candidates, in that you always want to have, in my opinion, an offensive head coach, because the issue, unless you have stability and you're an established franchise, Mike Tomlin, John Harbaugh, because if you lose coordinators, a lot of times you lose the ability for continuity with a quarterback. Those franchises have been able to do it because Mike Tomlin and John Harbaugh are such great coaches, and they've been able to replace, and there's a culture already there that I think just continues to roll. But here, I think in a perfect world, you'd want to have a head coach from the offensive side of the ball, because it's a passing league. Quarterback success always determines team success for the most part. And having that consistency and not worrying about, we could lose Cohen.
Is it a new system next year, right?
We're going to have to do something different. Is it going to change? Will it change our success? Will it change our path? That's something that you would like to not have to worry about. But again, that doesn't mean it's the only path to success. But it takes great leadership regardless, whether that comes from an offensive mind or a defensive-minded coach.
But among that pool of guys, like Todd Monken, when he was here, I think Todd's a very bright guy. You follow his career; he's had a lot of success.
He's a fun guy to talk with.
He is,
and he is very open, very honest, and has got a little bit of sarcastic kind of way about him. Was a big fan of Todd Monken when he was here before.
And he is in that pool with the Ben Johnsons, the Liam Cohens, the Joe Bradys, as bright, young offensive minds that are ready for that next step to ascend to the top of the heap and run the whole show themselves. And so he is in that pool. I don't have any negative feelings about Todd Monken, but I wouldn't necessarily put him ahead of those other candidates. I think if you pull one from that pool, and I'm with you, Logs, you can, by the way, it's not a choice between being the leader of men and an offensive mind. Can't you be both, right? Can be,
but some of them aren't both.
Some of them aren't, right? But I'm with you. I'd want the development of Trevor Lawrence to be number one priority on the list. And, there's a lot more that comes with it. So I'm more inclined to go to the offensive side as well with one of these guys, and with the caveat that they're going to come in and call plays as well.
I don't know a lot of the candidates that we're talking about. The Todd Monken I know, and big fan of him. Ben Johnson, just the only thing I know about him is just through conversations with Mark Brunell, and Mark's a big fan and said he's an amazing
And you
leader.
see the results on the field with that.
And he's productive and
creative.
Yeah, I think that he would be, and I asked the question of Mark when we saw him this year, that, does he think he'd make a great head coaching candidate? Mark said, I don't think there's any question that he would be a great head coaching candidate. And that's the extent of the conversation there about Ben Johnson. But, he's obviously, I think, at the top of the list with most people that are looking for that offensive-minded head coach, that are looking to spark a franchise, to spark a young quarterback, whether that's Chicago or New England or Jacksonville or whoever. That's the guy. I mean, if you have a young quarterback and you're not where you're at offensively, I'm sure he's at the top of the list for most people.
All right. Somebody made the point in terms of Vrabel being unemployed right now. There's no need to request an interview. I read it when I hear request, yes, you have to request permission from those teams, but still got to reach out to Mike Vrabel. Hey, we'd like to interview you.
Correct.
That to me is an interview request.
Correct.
So I would lump that all together, and I would think if the Jags were specifically doing that name would have been included in that group. Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not.
They wouldn't include it.
So it's a fair point. Thank you very much for that. Steve,
that was a good point.
It was. Steve on the south side. You're up next. Go ahead, Steve.
Hey, guys, real quick. Pretty passionate stuff going on here around town, as you can tell. But I've got a point 1A and point 1B on one topic, then a point.
Steve, do you have a question for Jeff? We got like a minute left. Do you have a question for Jeff?
Yeah. Brain trust answer. Shouldn't that have been, I work with people closely, and if you use your imagination, who should that be? My answer is either Coughlin or Baselli. That's my question.
Okay. Should Shad Khan be – Tom Coughlin, by the way, is an advisor to the Las Vegas Raiders right now. So I don't think you can call Tom Coughlin like that. He was – I'm assuming –
Antonio Pierce.
Right. Well, I'm assuming he was paid to be a consultant for the Raiders this year, but – I mean, I
hope he didn't do it for free.
A lot of people talk about Baselli as an executive vice president or what have you, right?
I'd love to see him there just so that I can criticize him all the time.
I know you would. But in terms of does in your opinion, does Shad need that level of other voice in the building?
I think it's always good to have input, and I don't think that there's or can be too bad of a thing as too much input. Look, it works differently with different organizations, and a lot of people with the whole Baselli thing, they point to the Detroit Lions and Spielman's role there with the Detroit Lions, which has been incredibly successful. Now, is Spielman a big part of that, or is he just a part of that equation? I don't know the answer to that because I'm not in that building, but yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with having input from somebody that has an educated eye and a good heart.
All right. Before we wrap up with Jeff, let's say hello to Helmets and Heels.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. Find the coolest cats in town at coolcatsjacks.com.
All right, Taylor Dahl is in. Hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Hello. So, obviously we have a lot to reflect on from yesterday. What was if you had your number one top line takeaway from the press conference that took place yesterday, what would it be?
Yeah, there was a lot of wild things, I think. At the end, the one thing that kept kind of spinning through my mind throughout the night of more so how would that even work is the comments when they asked if a coach wanted to reevaluate the front office, would something possibly be done? And, Shad Khan said it was something he would ask what they think that looks like, and then maybe he could change it if it's something that he thinks makes sense, which is interesting to me because I feel like most of the guys that you're going to be talking to are guys that you won't even really have the chance to have for 2 to 3 weeks. So then are you really going to reevaluate your general manager position after 3 weeks? But I think that's giving hope to people because Shad Khan knows who people want, and I think that maybe is just holding on a little hope, but it makes zero sense to me.
Look, the way I interpreted it was that people are reading way too much into what he said. I don't think there's a chance that somebody comes in and goes, get rid of Trent Baalke, and then he's going to do it. Yeah. I think when he talked about the structure of things, like who reports to whom and how do we come to this collaborative decision on picks and things like that, to me, is the structure. I didn't read his answer at all that, if Ben Johnson comes in here and says, I can't work with Trent Baalke, then that he's gone.
So
exactly.
for you, it's more so like the pecking order may
I
possibly
thought it was.
change.
I'm going to say things here to answer the
silence
question
people.
without going down that, without giving them a flat no.
Yeah.
So that was the way I interpreted it. Maybe I'm wrong, but obviously you guys have 2 hours to reflect on that and whatever else.
Yeah, we'll get into a lot of that because we obviously was after our show. He came on at 2. They talked at 2. So we'll get into a bunch of what Shad Khan said and Trent Baalke said. We also have Mark Ross from the NFL Network coming on. He worked in a lot of front offices with the Giants, with the Eagles, with the Bills. So we'll kind of get his perspective on these coaching searches and what that looks like. So a lot of coaching talk coming up.
All right, Taylor, have a great show.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll be listening. Logs, so for you now, any more Jaguar Radio Network duties? We wrapped up?
Yeah, well, we have TV. Tomorrow night is our last Jaguars All Access to wrap up the season. And then we are off for a period of time when it goes to the Happy Hour, Doug Peterson show. I'm not exactly sure what our schedule is going to be, but we're going to be off for a little while.
Outdoor show, though, still on Saturdays. We'll be back with the more of a checking the tape version. And maybe by then we'll have had some interviews go down with the different candidates, and we'll start to see if it's trending in one direction or another. But another great season with you. Appreciate all your insights and
enjoyed it.
Breaking it down and educating us as well as the listening audience on a weekly basis. So that'll do it for Jeff, and he will return next Tuesday. So look forward to that. For Tony Smith, for Dylan Denmark, happy birthday to Dalton Denmark. And I am Mike Dempsey. That will do it. Helmets and Heels coming your way right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Jaguars Today.